Think of a very experienced teacher. With the experience, he guesses which students will pass the class and which students will fail at the beginning of the year, and he records this prediction in a notebook. And when the end of the year comes, the students whom the teacher had predicted that would pass become successful, and other students fail. The teacher gives the students their school reports, and the students see them. After they see them, the teacher says, "Look, this is my notebook. I had predicted that you would fail, and I had written it at the beginning of the year. And you failed as I predicted." In response to the words of their teacher, do these lazy students have the right to say this? "Oh, teacher, you wrote this writing before our failure. Then the cause of our failure is this writing of you. If you had written about us, they will pass the class, we would have not failed." Doubtlessly, they cannot say it because the knowledge of the teacher is dependent on the known laziness of these students. In other words, the cause of their failure is not the writing of the teacher. On the contrary, the teacher knew with his or her experience that they would not study and act lazily, and the teacher wrote it within the notebook. If they had failed because of the writing of the teacher would have written for the hard-working students, "They will fail," and the hard-working students would also have failed. However, none of them happens. Nobody fails or becomes successful because of the writing of the teacher, since the knowledge is not a means of force and compulsion. It is only a determination and declaration. Likewise, Allah, who is the teacher of the unseen realms, knows with his eternal knowledge which people will fail the test of life and which people will pass and go to paradise. And he wrote this knowledge in the book of Qadar, which is a title of the knowledge of Allah. If the students who fail blame their teachers and attribute their failure to the writing of the teacher, they do a meaningless deed. Similarly, if a sinner person blames Qadar because of his or her own sins, this person also does a meaningless deed, and it is far from reality. To be able to understand this rule, knowledge is dependent on the known. We gave 9 examples because understanding this rule and the pre-eternity of Allah means understanding Qadar. We will finish the rule, knowledge is dependent on the known, with a final example. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, mentioned about the unrests and disorders at the end of time and the signs of the Judgment Day. The statements of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, are knowledge. The thing known is the events themselves. Our question is the same again. Is the cause of the occurrence of these events the notification of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him? Or is the cause of the notification of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the occurrence of these events at the end of time? Knowledge is dependent on the thing known. So, the cause of the notification of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the occurrence of these events at the end of time. If we thought of the opposite, it would be necessary to blame the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, because of these events, and to say, if he had not said them, they would have not occurred. Everyone who is sane can know that this thinking and this saying is extremely wrong. The result obtained from 10 examples. With these 10 examples, we have understood that knowledge is dependent on the known. Now, we will analyze this rule about Qadar. The knowledge of Allah about what we do and the writing of Allah about it within the book of Qadar board is knowledge. What is this knowledge dependent upon? Doubtlessly, it is dependent on the thing known, namely our deeds and what we will do. That is, Allah knows it because we will do these deeds. We are not forced to do them because Allah knows them. Then we can say this: a person who blames Qadar because of his sins is not aware of two things. 1. He does not know the meaning of pre-eternity and the pre-eternity of Allah. 2. He is unaware of the rule: knowledge is dependent on the thing known. And when these two issues are understood, all questions about Qadar will be answered. Up to this part of our work, we have tried to explain that the cause of our deeds is not the enforcement, compulsion of Allah and the writing in the book of Qadar. On the contrary, whatever we will do is written in the book of Qadar.